Hey guys, how are you doing this wonderful morning? I hope you're good. How have you been? Once again, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Uncle Kakosi. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to my wife's channel, Uncle Kavichi. She does amazing content. So, I guess what I wanted to discuss today is the topic I wanted to discuss today is existential questions. Existential questions. I think they are questions that every human being needs to answer. You know, as they walk, as they go on this journey called life. And the analogy that I would be using today is the analogy of the ship, of a cruise ship. All right. So when a ship is about to go forth, to launch forth, there are some critical questions that the ship needs to ask. The first is, why are we here? Why is this ship, why is this cruise, why is it necessary? So it can either be, maybe it's just a leisure cruise, leisure cruise ship where you just gather people, many people, maybe they pay $5,000 and you take them from different countries to different countries, create a kind of luxurious lifestyle thing for them. Or the ship could be that the purpose of the ship could be it could be a merchant ship. It could be a merchant ship, which means that it will need to carry lots of containers from different countries to different countries, like that. Or it could be a pirate ship. So that this ship is going to be fully fitted for nefarious activities, for dangerous activities. That's what pirates ship would do. Or it could be a ship that is a crude ship, which goes, maybe it goes taking crude from different countries to different countries, like that. So that's the first question, the question of why are we establishing the ship, why are we creating the ship? Because the question why would determine how you fully fit the ship. You understand? It will determine the number of passengers that will be going for that trip. It will determine what facilities are needed in that ship. You understand? So that for a cruise leisure ship, that you need lots of rooms, you need them to be fully fitted, beautiful as such, like that. So generally, the question of the why we are going on this cruise is going to is going to determine what the ship does. You understand? The second question is, where are we going? Where are we going? A ship has to have a destination. There's always a starting point and there's a destination for every ship. A ship doesn't just go into the middle of the ocean and just keeps wandering aimlessly about. There has to be set question. The question of where are we going, what's our destination, it has to be set. You understand? And then what time will it take for us to reach there? You understand? So ships usually have time periods, timelines, like that. And then who sent us? The question of who sent us is very, very vital. Why is who is the convener of this mission? Why? Why did this person send us? You understand? Because the question of who sent us will determine the speed by which we go. Because if it's a cruise, if it's a leisure ship, that it's profit oriented. You understand? So it determines lots of the activities that will happen on the ship. And then the question, the last question I believe is existential, is what are the rules on this ship? What are the rules? Because that a ship going on a journey, it has to have a set of rules which would guide everybody. The captain has to know his rules. He has to know his the part he has to play. The first mate has to know the part the person has to pay play like that. They have to know, okay, who are the law enforcement officials on this ship. There has to be defined rules about within the ship, and everybody has to know the rules, you understand, so that they have to know this place is out of bounds, whether the engine room has to be out of bounds, and maybe it's just the engineers that can only be there, like that. So there has to be defined rules. So that's the analogy of the ship, and I want to bring it to the human experience. I believe that for every human, we have to also have these existential questions, reading at the back of our minds as we go through life. I strongly believe we have to, because number one, the great philosopher, is it Socrates? I think it's Socrates. He said, an unexamined life is not worth living. I think that's the Socratic dictum. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. But you have to always have a set of guiding principles about life, and for you to come up with principles, you have to always first ask the needed questions. And these are not rhetorical questions. These are questions you really have to answer. So the first question is, why am I here? Why am I here? Why was I created? Why was I created? Who created me? You have to ask that question. Who created me, and why was I put on this planet Earth? Am I just a product of time and chance? If you believe in the ideology that you're a product of time and chance, then you could literally just wing your life away. But I believe there's a grand design. And if there's a grand design, there's always going to be a grand designer. I believe that the grand designer is God. And I believe that He created you. He created me. Created us and put us on the earth for a purpose. You understand? So the question is, have you known the reason why you are here? Why are you on earth? Why were you created? Why were you created into the family you were created into? Why were you created into the country you were created into? It's so easy to just keep saying, to just blame a lot of things on your parents or the country like that. But you have to understand, I think we have to understand that there's a reason why you were created into that country you were created into. So that's the question of, why am I here? Then where am I going? What's the ultimate purpose of life? Where's the destination? Is it just that I'm living and I'm going to die? No, I don't believe so. I believe the question of where am I going, where are you going, is needed. And you need to, I think we need to always inquire from the creator, from the grand designer, to know the purpose, why we are here, and where is our destination. What are the goals He wants us to achieve? What are the goals you have to achieve in order to fulfill the purpose you were created on earth? So when you are able to identify, this brings us to the point where you have to have a life, a mission in your life, a vision in your life. You understand? Some things, certain themes that guide your way, certain destination goals that you have. So you know that in 10, 20 years time, what am I going to do? How is the earth going to be beneficial? How am I going to make my environment beneficial? How are my experiences? How are the knowledge that I garner? How are they going to be impactful for the world? If you're a believer, if you're a Christian, how is my journey with God, my walk with God, my intimacy with God? What goals will it bring out? What goals is God putting in my heart, to improve the world? Because the Bible says that the creation cries for the manifestation of the sons of God, like that. So it's vital. Even, there's a purpose, you understand, and that purpose is time bound, because you know that there's a time for man to die and there's a time for man to live and there's a time for man to die, like that. So we have to walk with the consciousness that there is a purpose, there's a destination, there are goals that you need to set, there are goals I need to set. And then the question of who sent us. Who? When you answer the question of who created you, who has who I believe the question is, who determines the parameters of your life? Who determines the lengths you can go? Who determines who is the judge over your life? Who is the moral guide? Who creates the moral compass for your life and my life? Who can stop you from wrecking yourself? Who do you defer to? And I'm not just talking about mentors, but I'm talking about someone that is, a set of guiding principles that are eternal. For me as a Christian personally, God is the one I believe who sent me, and I believe He's the one that creates these a form of guiding principles for me to live by. So I follow His guiding principles, because if left to myself, I know that I can cause quantum destruction, and that's the reality of it. So I believe that you should be able to identify who has the final say over your life. Who can give you orders, who can direct you. You understand? Who are you? Yes, thank you, Jesus. Who are you accountable for? When you eventually die, who are you going to give account to? For believers, for Christians, God is the ultimate judge. On that day of judgment, everybody would account for their lives. They will account for the relationships they were in, will account for the relationships we were in, whether we wrecked the lives of people within those relationships or whether we made them better. We will account for every gift that He has given us, and whether we use those gifts to wreck the lives of people or we use those gifts to elevate the lives of people. We will account for every of our spare time. We will account for everything. So that question of who sent you, who sent me, we have to answer it. And the last one is, what are the rules about life? What are the rules? What are your principles? What are my principles? What are your guiding principles? What are the things you will never do? And I think that we need to we need to really, really think about these things and really, really define it. Personally, it's a personal thing. There are some things I will never do. I will never do it. It's guiding principles for my life. There are some things you should never do. Some places you should never be found in. And why are those things? Why? The question is why? Why wouldn't I do those things? Well, it's because of the fact that the mission God has given me, it constricts me. Conscripts me. It restricts me from being in certain circles. It restricts me from doing certain things. Do you understand? A man or a woman or whatever who is going on a particular journey, your guiding principles, they define the kind of band you take along with you on that journey. So it's very, very important that you identify your guiding principles. What are the things that guide you? Where do you get your your set of rules from? Where do you get them from? So I believe these existential questions are things that we should ask ourselves, even as we proceed on this journey. I pray God blesses you. Thank you so much for listening. I am grateful. Thank you so much. You're loved, you're blessed. Eshigo.